everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing a huge Mediterranean style family home. So this is a 5-bed, 4-bathroom build set on a 40 by 30 lot in Sulani, and it comes in at just less than 193,000 simoleons. So it wasn't done with any restricted packs or budget, it was just kind of being as creative as I could be. So initially, this didn't start out being Mediterranean. I'd say it was just kind of like, it's not a Mediterranean style home, as in it doesn't look like a Spanish villa, or it doesn't look like it's, you know, from Italy or anything like that. It's just a big family home that ended up in Sulani. So initially I started out in Willow Creek and I was going to build a house here, but then I thought, you know, I've not built anything over in Sulani for a while, and a lot of the builds that I did over there when Island Living came out were a lot smaller. I focused a lot more on the smaller lots and had a lot of fun with that. I did actually do a huge family home over there, but it was quite a while ago now, so I thought I would take this build over there and just kind of liven it up a little bit and make it a little bit more sunny. So I hope you're all well and you're all having a fantastic week. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for your support on my last video. I really appreciate it, and especially all of your comments as well. This week's kind of been a pretty chilled week. I've actually got all my kids off school at the moment and the weather has been horrendous. I don't think I've seen this much hailstone in 1 week ever in my existence. But I had to laugh because over in the UK now, we've started naming our storms, and whilst that's kind of a something that they do over in America, it's not something that we've ever done here in the UK until recently, and it's kind of like quite pathetic. In the sense that the storm systems we get over in the UK compared to America, well, there is no comparison. Like, it's a little bit of windy weather, a little bit of rain, and to every other Brit is just another day. But actually this week, we have been hammered in some parts of our country with some pretty bad flooding, and we've had a lot of sort of like windy weather as well as hailstones, and it's just been a bit crazy out there. So several years ago, it was probably something like 6 years ago now, we had this quite bad storm and we had a lot of windy weather. And where I live, we have this huge factory at the very back of our house, and it kind of creates this sort of wind tunnel down the side of my house. So it can, on days when it's, you know, the weather isn't that crazy, it can still get quite breezy down there. So when we do get a storm, it kind of goes a little bit extra crazy. And 6 years ago, we actually lost our fence, we lost a couple of trees, and obviously lost the wheelie bins. And it was just a bit crazy out there. I remember getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just hearing the sound of plastic bottles just being thrown around down the side of my house. And I realised that my brown recycling bin had blown over and there was just plastic everywhere. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, like a mad woman, I had to run outside in my pyjamas and go and try and rescue all of these bottles. So when I heard that we had some storms coming over this last week, I just had to make sure that basically my wheelie bins were locked down. But actually, because our fence was fixed 6 years ago, the guy that came out to do it actually fully fixed in the posts, and it's a pretty solid job. So I can't stop laughing because my poor next door neighbour, we get on so well. He's such a lovely guy. But basically at the start of the week, we had this storm. I think it was Sierra or Kira or some name like that. And I think it was like 3 neighbours' fences blew down, and his recycling bins went absolutely everywhere. His entire garden was covered in bottles, plastic, you name it. I looked out the window and I was like, wow, He's got a lot to clean up. Like, I really felt for him. So, luckily, our garden was completely unscathed and I was quite relieved about it. But towards the sort of the middle of this week, as we just gotten over Storm Sierra, came Storm Dennis. Like Dennis the Menace. These names just absolutely crack me up. I mean, Dennis, like, really. So the wind started getting, a bit hairy outside. It was really picking up. We had hailstone, rain, you name it. And I think it was like the day before this storm arrived, we had a look out to see, how everyone's gardens were faring. And they'd sort of got a couple of posts and were propping the fences up and, ready to be repaired. And my poor neighbour had gone out and picked all of his rubbish up and just, tried to sort of reorganise his bins in his garden. And then Storm Dennis arrived, and at about 3 o'clock in the morning again, I just heard this almighty smash, and I was like, oh my God. So I jumped out of bed and I was like, what's that? Looked out the window and his bin had fallen over, and these bottles were they were absolutely everywhere. And I just thought, oh, that poor guy. He's going to look out of his window like, are you absolutely kidding me? Honestly, I really shouldn't be laughing this much because I did feel really sorry for him. So yeah, the poor guy, I think as we speak, and this is like a day or two later, I think everything's still all over his garden. He must have opened the curtains and been like, not today, and just shut them again. But yeah, so the weather's been a bit rubbish. So we've literally just been stuck in and we haven't done a lot. Although yesterday I took the kids out and we went for a really nice meal and I took them for a little play at this big play place. But it makes me laugh because my eldest daughter, she's 9 now and she's coming up to being 10 and she's getting quite tall. And every time we go in this play place, they're like, can we just measure your daughter, please, just to make sure she's not too tall? So she's literally getting to the point where she's not going to be allowed in anymore. And it's like, oh, she's growing up. But my youngest daughter, I don't even know how I'm not grey yet, is just wild, and she is very, very bubbly. She's very independent and she's completely fearless, and she has got no problem whatsoever in talking to absolutely anyone. And she's going through this phase at the moment where she's just completely, obviously being that young, she's just completely naive. Everybody's lovely. So she's hugging everyone. Like, she's hugging the postman. She is hugging people at school, like parents in the playground. She's hugging kids. And I'm like, there's a part of me that just thinks it's so innocent and it's so sweet, but at the same time, like, you don't really want to pop that bubble because it's just such a sweet bubble for them to be in, just this bubble of innocence. But at the same time, as a parent, you're kind of wanting to try and explain to them that, a bit of stranger danger, like, please don't hug everyone, not everybody's kind out there. So at the minute, taking her to these play places, I was like, it'll be great. She'll be able to run around, burn off some energy, have some fun, have a good laugh, and we can all go home happy. But she is literally talking to everyone. So she's like, I look down and then I look up and she's at someone's table talking to them about absolutely anything. And all I can see is like this parent looking at me, just smiling, saying, it's okay, don't worry. And I'm just like, Delilah, come here. You can't do that. Oh, it was, in the end, I was like, kids, we're going to have to go because I can't deal with this. But yeah, no, I'm excited for her starting nursery in April because I think she's just going to absolutely nail it. She's going to love it. And whenever we talk about school, because obviously she comes on the school run with me when I take my other children to school, she's always like, Mom, are we going to school yet? Because I want to see all my friends. And all of her friends are like all my other kids' friends. So it's quite sweet, really. I think she's going to really love it to pieces. I'm excited for her to go as well. So also earlier this week, my best friend texted me and she was like, Kim, have you seen Love is Blind on Netflix? It's a new show. And she was like, and I was like, no, I don't think I've seen that one. I don't think I've heard of it. And she was like, you're gonna love it. Check it out. So I went over on Netflix and had a look, sort of read the synopsis, you know, kind of got an idea of what it was like. And I was like, not really sure if that's my type of thing. And basically it's about, it's like a month-long experiment, and it's about a group of people who go into a dating scenario. So they're put in separate pods with a wall that splits sort of down the middle, and they can't see one another, and they have to date individual different people and just kind of make notes, but they physically can't see one another, and they sort of have to decide which one they want to marry at the end of it. So it's like a 5-day long process where they are 24/7. They can literally speak to whoever they want to speak to, and they can talk about absolutely anything, and they build their relationship up from there. And then after the 5 days, they meet one another, and it's just crazy. At the end, basically at the end of this month-long experiment, they get married. Now, I'm not really about shows like that because I'm married myself, and I do feel like in society these days, marriage isn't always taken so serious. And for me, me getting married was like a really serious thing. You know, I was really committed and I wanted it to be forever. And I was really, you know, we'd been together, I think, for 4 years before we got married. So I felt like I knew him inside out. So shows like this, as soon as I read it, I was like, I don't really think that's up my street. I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy it. Anyway, fast forward, I absolutely binge watched it. I am so much of a sucker for like car crash style TV. I just, I love it. And I really love this show. It was so good. And we've literally just been messaging each other back and forth like as these episodes have been going along. Anyway, I think they released something like 5 and we binge watched them. And then it was like a new release every Thursday of more episodes. So I think they were releasing 3 extra today. So let me find my phone. I got this message this morning. And she said, oh gosh, we've spoken quite a lot since then. That was it. I got this morning at like just gone 9. 3 words for you. Love is blind. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. So we're in the middle of binge watching these 3 episodes, and we've been messaging each other like mad. But she's a mum just like me, so we have the funniest conversations, honestly. Our phone calls are ridiculous. Because we've both got really young children, having a phone call is just something that when you're a mum and you know, you've got your kids running around, it's not just a one-way private phone call. It's like, hi, how are you? How's it? Just get down off there. No, you can't have that. Put that away. Yeah, so I was watching this thing, and that's pretty much how our conversations go. So between us, we've been trying to get through these episodes, watching them whilst, you know, being mums and kind of running around doing our own thing. So for those of you like me who might be interested in a bit of car crash TV, I recommend Love is Blind on Netflix because it's just been brilliant. So I'm watching that at the minute. I'm probably going to watch the rest of it today and get on with some more building later on. But just coming back to building as well, I'm going to be throwing out a few different builds on my channel in different styles, different shapes, different sizes. And I kind of want to bring my channel back to where it was when I first started, because I kind of feel like when I first began my channel, I was literally building anything and everything. It didn't matter what size it was. It didn't matter what it looked like. I just kind of built whatever I felt like building. And I've got a really long list of builds that I really want to do. And since being back, I've actually built, I think I've got 3 more builds on the go at the moment that 2 of them are done and I'm working on the 3rd one, and they're just so different from the previous. So I'm going to be throwing out a few different styles of builds. So I have this book and I always put all of my build suggestions in it and make my lists about things that I'm going to do on my channel. So if you've got any build suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will make note of them and hopefully build them at some point. Also, I wanted to mention about my comments about the format of Sims videos, and basically I did a poll for those that didn't know over on Twitter, just asking whether people preferred stop motion videos or whether you preferred like the traditional way of doing speed builds, and also a poll on whether you prefer music over your videos or whether you prefer like me talking over them. And the results are in, and it would just seem strangely enough that I didn't have one person tell me that they preferred stop motion. So I don't know if that was a biased result. But yes, so I'm not actually going to change anything up with my videos. If it does get to the point where people prefer stop motion, it's something that people want, then absolutely I'm up for it. But it was really just to see what you guys were happy with seeing, because I think stop motion's come up in the community quite a lot over the last 6 months. So I just want to make sure that everybody's really happy with the format of the videos. You're still enjoying them the way that they are. You know, I'm happy to put music over these videos. It's not a problem, but apparently it is a problem and I'm not allowed. So yeah, I won't be changing anything anytime soon. Oh God, I've just dropped my pen. Hang on, let me just pick it up with my monkey feet. Okay, so just moving back to this interior. So I've done all the outside, and actually there wasn't that much space on the outside. This lot was a lot of house. It's definitely a really big sized house, that's for sure, and it would comfortably fit, you know, probably about 30 Sims in it. But yeah, it's a massive house, there's no denying it, and obviously there's no restriction on budget or anything like that, so this is just like your end game style house. But I really love doing these houses. I always will love doing absolutely massive houses, because they're the kind of houses that I always dream about, and I always dreamt about as a kid when we used to drive through Prestbury and see all these big mansions, and you know, they just used to be such beautiful houses, and I'm still in that frame of mind. I will always love building these houses. But I have to say, over these last sort of couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed building smaller houses as well. So you're going to see a little bit of a mix, not only in styles, but in sizes. So at the minute, I seem to be doing like big build, small build, big build, small build. And it's probably going to go along those lines for a little bit. Now, with this being a little bit more of a Mediterranean build, I've called it a Mediterranean family home, but it's not actually Mediterranean in the sense of it being Spanish looking or anything like that. It's just literally that it's like a new build, but it's just got it's got an orange roof. That's it. It's got an orange roof. So that makes it Mediterranean. But with me wanting to keep in sort of style with the outside of this build, I decided to do lots of sort of earthy tones on the inside. So there's a lot of woody sort of colours and swatches used. In the downstairs area, there was a couple of living rooms as well. I did 2 living rooms. There was a dining room, a kitchen, a study, and I think there was a couple of bathrooms. Or yes, there was a turret bathroom, and there was also a larger family bathroom downstairs. So there was a lot going on downstairs. Upstairs, I again wanted to keep in with the more sort of tropical kind of interiors, but I did add a little bit of personality into these bedrooms, and they're all a very, very good size as well. So in the end, I ended up doing, I think it was 3 double bedrooms upstairs, a single bedroom, which was a bit more of a boys' room, and then I did a double twin bedroom nursery. Or it wasn't a nursery, it was kind of like a toddler's bedroom, which was quite big actually. So there's a lot of space in this house. I actually really enjoyed furnishing this one as well. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't too taxing or anything like that. I just sort of went with it. I really love it when I actually get into that creative zone and I just build. And I think I ended up finishing this build last night, and I literally put my headset on, put my favourite crime podcast on, and just went at this build solid, and it just flowed really well. And it actually makes editing so much easier as well when I build that way, because when I'm chopping and changing and I'm doing a room and then I think no, it looks rubbish, and I'm deleting it and I'm doing something else, it's just, editing becomes an absolute nightmare. And I think that's the worst process out of the whole Sims videos type thing, is doing the editing process. Like, I could literally build for days, but when it comes to sitting and clipping out every little bit where you just, oh, I'll just pop for a cup of tea, right, that's got to be edited out. Oh, I'll just change this room. Okay, we've got to edit that out. It does get tedious, but my crime podcast definitely helps me out, sitting and listening to some music or something along them lines. Or, as I have been doing this week, actually watching Chrissy York's Twitch streams helped me out, because I ended up editing, I think, a full video the other day whilst watching her stream. So that went really well. So I actually began the 100 baby challenge the other week, and so far I think I'm on baby number 5, and I've had enough. Like, I'm literally done. Toddlers, for the longest time in this game, were absolutely requested, because when The Sims 4 released, we didn't have toddlers. Babies used to just age straight into children. And actually, me and Chrissy York were talking about this last night in her stream, about how far The Sims 4 has actually come as a whole, but also how far The Sims 4 base game has come, because my word, the stuff we didn't have when this game came out is unbelievable compared to where the game's at now. And I do really hope when they do release The Sims 5 that they kind of learn a little bit from The Sims 4, and they don't leave all of this really good stuff out, like toddlers and pools. But my point was being that for the longest time, people were shouting for toddlers. We need toddlers. Like, it's an important life stage in the Sims life. You can't have a baby go from a baby to a child. It just doesn't make sense. Well, you know what? You can take them back, because they're just a nightmare. They are literally a nightmare, but they are very true to life. And I have to say that the Sims team did a really good job in creating toddlers, because if I had to compare my toddler to the toddlers in the Sims, pretty much on par. Well, I have no idea what I've been chatting about for the last 20 minutes, but I think it might have something to do with, like, the cream eggs that I've consumed this morning. I have totally blown my diet. I'm not impressed with myself, but they were so good. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, it'd be awesome to have you on board. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.